Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and I'd like to do an early review of Lightyear Frontier, shall we? This game is coming out today when I'm releasing the review, and I got early access to the full game and played it on stream, played it off stream a little bit, and I only have a few hours in the game, but I'd like to just give my initial impressions, and I'm going to give the game a grade, a letter grade as if it's in my class, and then I'm going to also make a recommendation on whether or not you should buy Lightyear Frontier. So, first of all, let's just talk about what is Lightyear Frontier. Well, on the Steam page, it says it's a peaceful, open-world farming adventure on a planet at the far edge of the galaxy. Climb into your versatile mech and start your new home on a distant planet with up to 3 friends as you farm alien crops, build your own homestead, and explore the untamed wilderness of the world. This is by Framebreak and Amplifier Studios, and it is all of these things. And what you should think about, if I was comparing Lightyear Frontier to other genres, is as I play the game, I get notes of Stardew Valley, Satisfactory, Slime Rancher. And those are simply because some of them are just visual, like visually I feel a little bit, if I'm in first person, the element of building massive structures like Satisfactory, but it's a farming sim first and foremost, so you've got that kind of Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley thing going on, and yet you're in a giant mech, like Dyson Sphere, perhaps, but there is a feel of the peacefulness of it, of the interaction with the animals, and being sent out to the far, far range or whatever, like you are in Slime Rancher, of that kind of isolated Slime Rancher feel. And yet, that is complicated by the fact that you can play Lightyear Frontier multiplayer co-op, which is a new spin. So you take the farming, open world, base building game genre, and you throw in mechs, and you are getting close to Lightyear Frontier, and then you also just add on multiplayer. Now, I've been playing single player and having a great time with the game. So after I kind of explain what kind of a game Lightyear Frontier is and what other genres or games it's similar to, let's go ahead and talk about the fun factor of Lightyear Frontier. Like, is this a fun game? So, in my playtime so far, I have to say yes. This is something that Lightyear Frontier does amazingly well, is that it's a fun game. It's fun to be in the mech. It's fun to travel around this beautiful world. It's fun to vibe out to the music and just kind of do your thing. You don't have to worry about combat, and you can do some pretty funny things with watering your plants with a giant cannon and, firing them into the ground with rocket launcher, kind of homing missiles almost with your seed cannon. So you get to do things on this kind of grander scale inside the mech. It's very silly when your mech falls over and such. So you get to play this game and have fun with it, but you don't worry about any elements of survival. This is not a survival game at all. There's no eating, there's no drinking, there's no oxygen, there's no health. You don't have to worry at all at any time about danger in that sense. Now, there are some events that happen that can set back your progress if you don't take care of them properly, but you're not going to die, you're not going to lose your stuff, you're not going to have to fight things, and you can just focus on something which is really fun, that is kind of cleaning up and almost terraforming a planet. And I really enjoy that. Plus, you get to farm, buy stuff, sell stuff, look for secret items and treasures. Everything is polished and works really well. So for me, the fun factor is very, very high. I think this is an incredibly fun game. Now, the next thing I like to do in a review is talk about the controls. Okay, how does the game control given what it's asking you to do? Does it control intuitively? And do the controls make sense, or do they get in the way of enjoying the game? For me, the controls are really good. I played both with mouse and keyboard and with a gamepad, and even though it says it's only like partial gamepad support, I had no problems ever using the gamepad to control the game. What's cool about the controls is everything is exactly as you would expect it. It totally makes sense, and you can switch between first person and third person instantaneously to get whatever view you want. You can run around And you don't have to do anything complicated. Your mech falls down, so what? You get out, you could flip it right back over. It's no problem. So for me, the controls are incredibly polished. Sometimes when a game is just coming out, you might be concerned about the control, but this is a very, very polished game with its control. Now, another aspect of controls that I like to talk about are the UI and the systems in the game. So how are the different systems in Lightyear Frontier, and how is the UI? So there's a lot of systems going on in Lightyear Frontier. You've got farming, you've got gathering, you've got crafting, you've got exploration, you've got an economy, you have a tech tree, you have the domestication of animals, you have some light puzzle work to do with just exploring and finding things. And so there's lots of stuff going on, but for me, every single system in the game works as I would expect it to work. And I have had no problems with any of it, and some of it even has some fun spins on, the way that these have been implemented in the past, so it works pretty well. The building isn't the best building system I've ever seen, but it makes sense, and I've never had any problem with it, and you can recycle your stuff if you don't like where you've placed it. But overall, I think the systems are totally intuitive and very well thought out and polished. Now, what about the UI in the game? I think the UI is really good. It's clean, it's easy to read, your backpack, everything makes sense there, the tech tree, it all looks good, and things you can find in the UI like the lore and your journal, this is all really good. Now, there's some quality of life features I would like with Lightyear Frontier. I would love to be able to place pins on the map, for example, to mark resource nodes. I would like a quick dump from my mech to surrounding chests, or to quick stack stuff, to, stacks that exist within the chest at a button press. I'd also like the crafting stations to be able to draw from the storage chest. Now, granted, I've only played the game a few hours. Maybe some of that stuff is available with higher level technology unlocks, but those are some things that I would like. None of it gets in the way of enjoying the game. They're just quality of life things that I personally enjoy. Now, after I talk about the systems in the UI, I like to talk about the story. Does Lightyear Frontier have a story that contributes to the game? Is this a kind of narrative-driven game? No, this is not a narrative-driven game. There is a story, there is some lore, there is a mystery to unravel, but it's light. You don't need to read it. You can look more deeply into the lore in your inventory, and there's some explanation for what you're doing and the AI that you're interacting with, and what's going on perhaps with the project. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's not massive. It's not like I'm playing this game for the story. It's in there. There's some stuff to unlock, but it's very, very low impact. So yeah, there's a story, but it's not a mind-blowing story, and yet it's not important to the game, at least in my opinion. Now, maybe as I play more, the story will just open up and become something fantastic, but for now, it just seems like an element of the game that is not just thrown on randomly. It does have some thought process behind it. However, it is not the most involved of narratives. Now, what about the graphics and the visuals in Lightyear Frontier? This is one of the things that Lightyear Frontier absolutely annihilates. It is an amazing looking game. I love the style visually of the game. I love the graphics. I love everything about the UI, the way your mech looks, the way the world looks. It is a phenomenal looking game. I'm playing it, I'm noticing details, the lighting effects, the weather effects. It's incredible. So I think the visuals are through the roof on this game. Now, what about the audio and the sound effects? So you have some speech if you're talking to the AI or the merchant that sounds good. The voice acting is pretty reasonable. You have some sound effects within the game, and those are good. But for me, the thing that's really stands out is the music. It's got this light, super chill guitar music that is meant to emphasize the fact that this is a chill game. You are vibing, you are chilling, you are relaxing and playing this game. So you can just absolutely de-stress and melt with the music and the style of game. So I think that the audio is really good in Lightyear Frontier. And what about the style? How does all of this come together? How do all of the elements intertwine to contribute to the style of the game? And does this game feel like it has a soul, Or does it feel like some kind of empty game that's just filling in a formula and making a game with no thought process behind it and no kind of artistic contribution? I think the style in this game is very good. It's not the best style I've ever seen in the world, but the visuals are amazing. I love the art style of the game. I think the music is cool, and I like this type of game. It is clearly an amalgam of other games, but even given the fact that they're taking elements that you would expect from other games, it iterates on them in a unique way because, of course, you have this mech and you have some cool tools, and there are some things that you do in this game that you don't quite do in some of the other games that it's borrowing from, especially if you consider the fact that it's multiplayer. So, all of that being said, I think this game has a good style. It is not, at least so far in my experience, an absolute generational one-of-a-kind style type of thing, but it's certainly got some style to it, which I like. So given all of that, how would I grade Lightyear Frontier? What's my overall grade for this game? Well, normally what I like to do is give a baseline by comparing it to Steam reviews and Metacritic scores, but this game is just coming out and it's been in early access, so there's really no basis for me to compare it to. So given I have nothing to compare it to and I only have my limited play experience, right now I give Lightyear Frontier a B+. And I give it a B+ because I think for me the visuals and the music take it over the top. I'm not sure if this is a game I want to play forever yet, and I'm not sure if the kind of progression arc dies off, but for now I'm really enjoying the game. Now if it picks up and everything keeps going where the progression feels really good, you unlock new technologies, and you have a reason to keep exploring and playing, then, maybe you bump this up. But for now, what I like about the game is that it tells you what it's going to do, and it executes it just so professionally in a way that's very polished and pleasing. It isn't a one-of-a-kind, like I said, game that is the best game you've ever played. It isn't some kind of unbelievable artistic, unique contribution to the gaming space, but it does everything so well, and the visuals are so good, and it feels fun to play the game. If you love kind of, vibe out, single player, or even multiplayer, but chill experiences like this with no combat, then I think, you would be with me and giving it a very high score just because of the level of polish, detail, and love that went into Lightyear Frontier that's all realized in a way that I encountered absolutely no problems at all when I was playing the game, and I want to play more. So for me right now, in this early review, I give Lightyear Frontier a B+. Now, what about, do I recommend this game? Do I think that other people should go out and buy this game and play it? So for me, this is a game that I will first compare it to other genres. There's no combat, so even if you want to compare it to Stardew, there is no combat, which Stardew has. Slime Rancher is my most obvious comparison in a lot of ways, but even Slime Rancher has some light combat element to it, and you can die. This game isn't there, and that's okay. You just want to know that going into it. So it feels like it's got elements of Stardew, farming simulators, and some Slime Rancher feel, as well as there's some builder, and it is multiplayer too. So those are the kind of games and genres that I would compare it to. And if you like those games, I think, yes, this would be a game that you would like to vibe out and enjoy. Now, what about the difficulty? In Lightyear Frontier, the difficulty is a 0. And what I mean by that is there's no challenge. Like, it's not hard to do the stuff. You just have to progress, build up, unlock the technologies, and you will be fine. So some people, that's going to be a turnoff. They want the game to be hard. They want it to be a challenge. But that's other people, they don't want that. They just want to relax and enjoy the game. And that's what kind of a game this is. You can miss jumps. You could fall over, You can not do things in a min-max optimal way. But for the most part, this is about as low of a difficulty as you can get because it's meant to be a chill experience. Now, what about the value? I can't speak to the value right now for 2 reasons, and that's because I don't know how much the game is supposed to be when it launches, and I don't know how much how long the game is. For me, I had a great time with it, but I can't tell if it's going to be, a 20, 30-hour type of thing, or if it's going to be a 100-hour type of thing. So I'm going to kind of reserve judgment on the value because I don't know what it is. However, I will say what speaks to the value would be the fact that you could play it by yourself and you could play it multiplayer, so you get kind of two experiences there. And that kind of dovetails into replayability. For me, this isn't a game that has high replayability unless every once in a while you want to dust it off and just start up a game because you love it. And I can't tell if it's going to be a game that I fall in love with and I want to do that with. However, there is the innate replayability given the fact that you can play it solo and multiplayer, and it might be fun with that. There's only one map so far that I've seen, but I don't know if the map is random or not. I don't think it is, but maybe some stuff will change my mind about the value and replayability as I play more of it. But remember, this is an early review of mine. So overall, do I recommend this game? I actually can recommend this game pretty reasonably because I think it's just such a fun, easy to get into experience. Now, if you're a person who likes combat, who wants a challenge, then maybe it's not for you. But if you want to vibe out, get in a mech, do some fun cartoony farming, have a little bit of a light economy, a reasonable progression system, and play an exploration-based farming sim, then yeah, this is for you. So everyone, I'd love for you to tell me what you think of my grade of Lightyear Frontier. Do you think I'm being fair? Do you think this is unfair? How would you evaluate this game? And let me know if you've played the demo or if you are looking forward to playing the game in the comments below. I'm featuring a lot of footage of the game that I've played so far in this video, so tell me what you think of it. Does it look like a cool game, something you want to try, or is this something you're going to pass on? Please let me know in the comments below. I do read them all and I want to check them out and know what you think. I'm also going to link below my Let's Play of Lightyear Frontier if you want to see some more gameplay, and I'm also probably going to do a beginner's guide to this, so I'll link that when that becomes available so you can learn how to play the game with me if you're interested in doing that. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. Take care.